Welcome back to the exam preparation video series for PL-300 Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst. I'm Aravind, a Microsoft technical trainer. This is the second episode out of the total 4 episodes in this series. In this episode, we'll focus on modeling the data. We'll cover how to design and implement a semantic model, create model calculations using DAX, and optimize model performance. Here's a list of different skills for the objectives we'll be covering. As mentioned in the previous episodes, these are some of the skills you may or may not be tested on. We will not necessarily cover every skill in this video, but you should be familiar with each skill before taking the exam. Understand role-playing dimensions and how they let you create multiple relationships between fact tables and dimension tables. This means you can use the same column more than once, allowing for more varied and rich data analysis scenarios, like comparing date dimensions within the same model. In this example, the date table can filter the sales fact table by the order date or the ship date. You need to understand relationships, cardinality, and cross-filter direction options. Be aware of directionality and know that in general, you want to steer clear of many-to-many relationships. You can't escape date tables in analytics due to the need of filtering data by some form of time dimension. Be aware of the fact that you can create date tables in one of 3 ways: in the source data, via DAX function, and using Power Query. You should know that when you see a sigma icon, that it is an indication that you're dealing with an implicit measure. You can modify or disable implicit measures by changing the default summarization settings. Know what the calculate function in DAX is. The calculate function in DAX allows you to create a measure that overrides certain portions of the context to express the correct result. For example, if you want to create a measure that always calculates the total sales for 2015, regardless of which year selected, in any other visual in Power BI, you would create a measure that looks like the DAX formula displayed on the screen. In this example, the calculate is aggregating the total price column, just as you did in the previous measure. However, instead of operating over the entire semantic model while using the default filter context, you're overriding the filter context for the year 2015. You must be aware of how to manipulate data using time periods and then compare calculations over those periods. These time intelligence functions allow you to summarize data over time, and they allow you to make comparisons over time. Know the difference between an aggregator versus an iterator function. For example, sum is a basic aggregation function that sums up all the rows of one column, while SumX allows you to sum up multiple columns, allowing for more intricate calculations. It is important to know the use cases for semi-additive measures, which are often used to take snapshots of specific points in time rather than extensive summation across all available periods. It is important to remember the steps to set up calculation groups in Power BI. To do this, open your Power BI desktop and navigate to the model view. Click on the New Calculation Group button, and then name your calculation group and add the appropriate calculation items. Then you define the calculation items with DAX expressions, and finally, you save your calculation group. It is important to keep in mind that a lean and efficient semantic model leads to a more efficient and effective report. To that end, use the features such as promote headers, rename columns, remove top rows, remove top columns to keep your semantic models neat and optimized for reporting. To identify bottlenecks in your report, a built-in tool that should be considered is the Performance Analyzer. Know that the tool displays performance measurements in real time and can help a report author pinpoint slow aspects of visuals when refreshing the visuals. Smaller semantic models are more efficient and effective. A user should be aware of the techniques to increase performance by reducing granularity. For example, Changing data types from datetime to date can reduce granularity. Splitting the column can also achieve a reduction in granularity as well. Another skill in this objective domain to be aware of is the benefits of configuring table and column properties, which simplifies the structure and navigation. Be aware of the following types of tabs. The General tab lets you define default summarization options and sort orders. Formatting tab allows you to customize visual elements such as fonts, colors, and alignment. The Advanced tab is for in-depth customization like enabling data category validation. Be aware of the capabilities such as calculated columns and tables, which allow you to add more data to the semantic model. These tables allow you to solve analytical problems such as time-based calculations through a date table. To recap, the benefits of a small, well-designed semantic model include enhanced data understanding, simplified report building, faster data aggregation, simplified aggregation, increased accuracy of reports, and reduced future maintenance efforts. Know how to create a measure by using quick measures which allow you to perform simple summarizations such as sums, averages, maximums that can be set through the fields well. Be aware of the features of calendar and calendar autodax functions. Use the calendar function to define a date range by entering two values, the start date and the end date. Use the calendar auto function to automatically encompass all dates stored in the model. To recap, in this episode, we discussed how to design and implement a semantic model, create model calculations by using DAX, optimize model performance. Remember, this group accounts for 25 to 30% of the exam, so keep that in mind while preparing for the exam. Thank you for watching episode 2 on modeling the data. Be sure to join us for episode 3 where we cover visualizing and analyzing the data.